So welcome. We hope that you're all well, that your families are well, that your neighbors and your pets are well, and that you're all safe and healthy and feeling good. Thank you for joining us. We love doing these classes. We love it that the Woody Foundation has been sponsoring them for so many years. I don't think I've ever so aggressively chased anyone down in my life as I did that Woody. Woody, man, we got this idea. We want to do this chair yoga class. No, he was game from the start. But nonetheless, I was aggressive about it because I really felt strongly about it. And he did too, because here we are. And we found that there are a lot of people that feel strongly about their friends and family living with paralysis, and friends and family in wheelchairs, because under those circumstances, we have to face so much adversity. There's so many barriers. There's so many ways to discriminate and to kind of feel unwelcome, and we don't want any of that. We want to make sure that people know that a boat like this exists. This kind of boat, when it pulls into port, imagine how people feel when they see everyone in wheelchairs on the boat, manning the boat, acting as crew, people just, on the boat for recreation. It's so heartwarming and so uplifting, and it really changes your perception about what is possible. And that's a dream that many people involved in this collaboration all agree upon, and that is that we want to do as much as possible to create a barrier-free world. This boat, the Impossible Dream, is all about barrier-free design. It's beautiful. Everything that was done to make it accessible for people in wheelchairs improved the beauty of the boat. It's spacious, and that's why we can be here today on the bay with this magnificent view. And we can remain socially distant from each other because there's so much space here. So we're really sad that our friends can't be here with us on the boat today to do these classes together. We've been doing them for a while now, doing sunset sails, and it's really spectacular to get all our friends in chairs and just to get them to experience the therapeutic effects of the water and the calming effects, just being able to be out at sea, even if we don't go that far. We're right here in Biscayne Bay. It's like a 10-minute ride from the dock, or 15, something like that. I lost track of time, but it really changes your point of view, literally. And to see Miami from this distance, she looks even more beautiful. So welcome everybody. My name is Natalie. I'm from Dharma Yoga Studio right here in Coconut Grove, and this collaboration is a uniquely Miami event, because we have a lot of like-minded local nonprofits that are behind us, and we just learned that the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation is going to also put these videos on their website, and that's so cool. So we want to get the word out, and what we do in these chair yoga classes is different every time, but essentially we're going to do some nice relaxing breathing techniques that help with anxiety. And let's face it, under the circumstances, a lot of us are facing anxiety. So we're going to do that as we normally do. We're going to do some gentle stretches and some strengthening moves, and also one of the most important things that we do is tune into the breath, because that itself is going to help us to get in a meditative state. And when we're facing anxiety and we're facing obstacles and barriers, sometimes it's nice just to kind of figure out how to separate and develop a practice of how to separate whatever might be going on in the outer world and what we have going on inside. So that's what it's going to be about, and that's what I'm going to try to guide you through. And please remember, I am merely the guide. I'm not your boss. When we do these classes with me alone, it's a little bit sad because you don't have all the wonderful reminders of the diversity and the different ways that people move uniquely. So it's going to be just me, but you do you be you, I'll be me, and I will demonstrate moves, and everyone's going to do them differently. So the first thing we're going to do is observe the breath. And it's what we normally start off with, and there's often wandering mind when we try to settle our mind on a simple point. So I'm going to ask you to take your hands. It helps if you get a little tactile feedback. So take your hands onto your torso. Like, let's do one hand on the heart. Let's do the left hand on the heart or the chest and the right hand on the abdomen, just in general, so that you can notice how your body moves when you breathe. So this is usually the first exercise that we do, and it's just an observation. So we take a few rounds of breath and you say, where do I feel the breath? Do I feel it in my chest? Do I feel it in my abdomen? Try to just observe without changing it. But the moment we bring awareness to it, we start to change it. So just try not to change it too much, just observe. And if you lean back in your chair, you might feel the back of your body moving too. If you have your arms resting against your sides, you can feel the sides of your body moving. And the difficult part about this observation is that the mind will wander away from the assignment. We'll start thinking about whatever we habitually are thinking about. A lot of times it's exactly the source of anxiety. So try not to let your mind wander away from the breath. And then two of the things that we do to help us stay focused on the breath, one we're already doing with the hands on the torso somewhere. The next thing we're going to do is make the breath a little more audible. And there's a couple of different methods that we can employ. We can use what we call the ujjayi breath, where we constrict the back of the throat a little bit and you can hear the breath on the way in and the way out. Almost sounds like you're snoring a little bit. And when we have that sound of the breath to focus on, it gets more obvious when the mind is wandering. Why? Because we'll forget. The breath will grow quiet. So if you keep the breath audible, you'll have a greater chance to stay focused on it. One of the therapeutic benefits of being on the water is just listening to the sound of the waves when there's very little else to hear. And now that we have the hands on the torso and we're keeping the breath audible, now let's make the breath a little deeper. And by that I mean let your abdomen come out a little bit as you inhale. Let your chest lift a little more as you inhale. Let your sides open a little more. And as you exhale, feel that contraction as the abdomen draws in, as the lungs empty, the ribs squeeze in a little bit. So at this point, we've changed the breath by keeping it audible. And we've changed it by deepening it. Try to do that three-dimensionally. And if you're really trying to do this, you'll notice it's harder than it seems. Let's take 5 more breaths like that. If you're uncomfortable constricting the back of the throat, you can inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Whatever is more reasonable for you. We're not rushing the breath. Two more breaths like that. And now we're going to take the hands, we're going to bring them down. We're going to add something else. It should make it even more easy to follow the breath, and that is we're going to add some movement to it. So as you make your next inhale, let your arms straighten, reaching your fingertips toward the ground in front of you. And as you exhale, bring your arms down. And then just keep on doing that And if you want to lift your arms a little higher, you do that. So try to time the movement to your breath's rhythm. It's not about being fancy or flashy. Just about being honest about the breath's rhythm. And let's start to count the breath. We'll do a count of 4 on the inhale and a count of 4 on the exhale. So we're going to start on the next breath in. So as you inhale, you stretch the arms out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you exhale, bring the arms back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks, Cindy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keep that same count, moving to the breath's rhythm. Try to breathe fully, 3-dimensionally. And as you do this, make sure you're not tensing up unnecessarily. Keep going. Thanks, Sheena. If you can lift your arms a little higher, do that. Remember, keep the breath audible. Keep it full. Hi, Zoe. Let's do 2 more. Deep breath in. Let's count of 4. Slow breath out. Count of 4. Last one. Count of 4, lifting the arms. Count of 4. Okay, so keep on doing that. Now we're going to bring the arms out to the sides. Now we're going to do the same kind of thing, but the arms out to the sides. So count of 4, arms stretch straight as you can. Start to lift them a little higher. It'll feel different. You're using different muscles. And exhale. So if the sides of your chair or the arms of your chair or the wheels of your chair are in your way, just keep on going. Count of 4 on the inhale. Count of 4 on the exhale. Let's do 5 more. As you lift the arms, tighten the muscles in the arms from the shoulders, past the elbows, toward the wrists. Two more. Try to keep breathing 3-dimensionally. 1 more. Last one. Exhale, bring the arms down. Now let's bring the hands back to our lap. Okay, let the palms face up. We're going to keep on going with this idea of doing the breath. So take a nice deep breath in through the nose, count of 4. Exhale, count of 4. Do that again. And now we're going to add a little bit of a longer exhale. So complete the exhale, 2, 3, 4, and then start again. 1 on the inhale, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll exhale to 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just keep on doing that. Breathe fully, breathe three-dimensionally. Exhale to 6. And again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 5 more of those. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then let's do 1 more. 2, 3, 4. And then exhale for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now just do regular breathing. Try to stay focused on the breath. Breathe low into the abdomen. Breathe out to the sides, into the back. And then we're going to just continue with some gentle movements of the head and neck. So, root your feet down, and we were talking about this in the last class, just because we're not using the legs, or if we have limited sensation or none, we don't want to ignore them. We want to honor the fact that they're there. So visualize, and when we use our powers of visualization, it's almost like we're strengthening a muscle, like we would strengthen a muscle in the body. But of course, the imagination isn't a muscle and the mind isn't a muscle, but very few of us talk about controlling the mind, but that's precisely what we do when we visualize and we work on our powers of concentration. So, visualize your feet rooting into the ground, softly and evenly. Visualize the energy coming up through the lower legs, past the ankles, into the calves, the shins, up to the knees. Visualize that energy coming up from the soles of the feet through the lower legs, up into the thighs, top of the thighs, outer, inner edges, back of the thighs, to the sitting bones, to the pelvis, so that your lower body is rooted and it's going to keep you stable. Okay, so keep the breath nice and smooth. Let your hands rest comfortably, whatever that means for you. And this is going to be about moving the head and neck to the breath's rhythm. So take a nice deep breath to start. A nice slow exhale. And then we'll start going with the breath. So on the next inhale, let your head slowly lift. The chin is lifting up. And as you exhale, bring the head slowly down so the chin comes toward the chest. And inhale, the head lifts. And exhale, the head comes down. So let's go back to that count of 4. When you're ready, on the next inhale, slowly lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. Keep that same count. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Let's stretch it out to 6 on the inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhale for 6, bringing the chin slowly down toward the chest. And again, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhale, bringing the chin down. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that twice more. Lifting. 3, 4, 5, 6. Bringing the head down slowly with control. 4, 5, 6. And last one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's slowly bring the head back into neutral. And then once again, let's take the hands onto the torso, but this time let's leave the hands down low. Okay. And most of us have a habit of breathing shallowly, like breathing in the chest. And if you've ever had an extremely nervous moment or even a very excited moment, you might have noticed that you breathe really shallowly in the chest. So let's not go to that nervous style of breathing. Let's try to sink the breath low into the abdomen. So visualize your lungs as if they went all the way down into the lower pelvis. I mean, of course, they technically don't, but still, there's that much movement in the abdomen, and we want to really train ourselves to breathe fully so that we increase our oxygen level, we increase our lung capacity, we can improve our metabolism, we can do so much. And one of the most important things that we can do with these breath exercises is to calm the nervous system, really calm ourselves down, reduce anxiety. Let's take 5 deep breaths into the low abdomen. And as you exhale, feel it contract. So feel the contracting of the torso. And really squeeze it in on the end of the exhale. And then do that again. And if you find it difficult to hold, to focus on the breath, you're not alone. Of course, most of us find it difficult. So keeping it audible is really helpful. Keeping that tactile feedback with your hands on the torso is really helpful. Let's do 5 more breaths like that. Three more breaths like that. I hope you can hear the sound of the waves. Exhale. Two more breaths. Low into the abdomen. One more. Nice, deep, slow breath in. Nice, slow breath out. And then we're going to come back into neutral position. We're going to take our hands and just start opening and closing the hands. So many of us use the hands so much. And now, since so many people have to use a computer or use a computer for pleasure or for work, for writing or for anything else, we know that we can sometimes incur a lot of tension in the hands and fingers. So let's do this. Let's bring the hands together and let's rub them into each other. So create a little heat. And I hear this is what they do in places where it's really cold outside, where you go outside and you have to do this kind of move to warm up your hands. Can you imagine such a thing? So create some heat by using some muscle energy. And you'll create some warmth between the palms. You can feel it now. Squeeze one hand with the other and squeeze. So now let's keep on going with that idea that we're going to warm up the surface of the skin. And let's do the back of one hand. So just take one hand and rub the back of the other. And then the other side too. And do it with a little bit of effort. Like you're pressing down with one hand, but the bottom hand you're pressing up as well. So we're always, taking the opportunity to feel as alive as possible in the body. Now take one hand and just follow the line from the wrist to the elbow. So you're squeezing with one hand on the opposite forearm, massaging with your fingers. And then take that same hand and squeeze tightly around the forearm, kind of near the wrist. And when you do that, you'll notice your fingers will close a little bit. So keep that tight hold like you're making a cuff, and then open and close the hand a few times. Just open and close it and feel the muscles contract in the forearm. And Macaulay is with us today, and he does a lot of artwork. He is an artist, so of course artists are always using their hands. I used to work with a wonderful lady who was a ceramist, and she always insisted that we have eyes in our hands, which is a very interesting way for an artist to describe the sensitivity in the hands. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So shake your hands out a little bit. It's raining a little bit. How nice. And then opposite hand. We're going to start to massage the skin on the forearm of the opposite hand. So from the wrist to the elbow, one side is going to feel different from the other. Thank you, Kim. And then you're going to take that hand, we're on the opposite hand, the opposite arm, and squeeze. So you're making a cuff with that hand around the forearm. You can go close to the wrist a little bit, and when you do, if you squeeze well, your hand will close a little bit, of course. And then keep that cuff with that hand wrapped around the forearm, and just open and close your hand a few times, and just notice how strong the hands are. How many muscles do we have in the, how many bones do we have in the hand? It's a good question, huh? And then we're going to take the hand and we're going to relax them. We're going to relax both arms, both hands at our sides, and start to shake them out a little bit. And shake them vigorously. And let's not stop at just the hands. Let's do the wrists, let's do the forearms. 27 bones in the hands. Does that match the feet? No. There's less. So really shake out the hands, and then we're going to let the hands rest in the lap. And you might get a tingling sensation. The word in Spanish that we use for this tingling sensation is hormiguera, which is kind of gross. It's a sensation of ants crawling on you. And it just really signals that we are alive and we have circulation. So let's do this. Let's keep on going with this idea of using the hands. Let's bring them together and line them up. Line up all the fingers and the wrists. And turn your palms toward each other and really press hard. So this isn't just actions of the hands. This is actions of the arms, the forearms, the chest, the upper back. Okay, and spread your fingers out as much as possible. And then squeeze your fingers together. Even the thumb. Go back and forth, spreading the fingers out, squeezing them together. Do that back and forth. And try as much as you can to keep the fingers lined up from the tips to the roots. And as you do this, you might even hear the suction cup between the palms. And then spread out the fingers. Okay, this one is for our friend Robert Howell. So we're going to have the fingertips aiming up and then the fingertips aiming down. So go back and forth, press your hands into each other as much as you can so that you're getting the muscles of the chest to work. And as you tilt your hands one way and the other, try to keep your forearms, let's say, kind of parallel to the ground. Go back and forth a few times. And then we're going to keep the fingertips together, but separate the palms. And then we're going to keep the fingertips together, separate them as much as possible. And then bring the roots of the fingers away from each other. So go back and forth. Roots of the fingers touch, and by that I mean where they attach to the palm, rim of the palm. Back and forth a few times. Bring your palms together, separate, go back and forth. And then we're going to relax the arms at our sides and just let them dangle a little bit. Okay. So we're going to keep on going with this idea of moving the head and neck. Oh, I like that, Macaulay. Nice. Okay. Oh, we've got some dancing going on. Okay. Okay, so we're going to let the shoulders move away from the ears. And for this one, we're going to do a little bit of a neck stretch. So we're going to get more effective stretch if we move the shoulders away from the ears. So let's just do a little bit of contrast. So bring the shoulders up toward the ears. And then as you exhale, let the arms fall. Do that a bunch of times. Let's do 7 more. So let the inhale really fill the whole torso. 5 more. Shake the arms out on the exhale, so make it percussive. And even from 1 to 5, I've lost count. So let's let the arms shake out a little bit. Okay, now that we've got that sense of contrast, what it feels like to have the shoulders lifted up and what it feels like to have them lifted down, let's go with the down. And we're going to use the arms. We're going to hold on to whatever we can. So you got the sides of your chair, you got the wheels of your chair, the edges of your chair, whatever you got. And you're just going to make use of your arms and your hands so that you are drawing the shoulders away from your ears and broaden the collarbone. So it's like you're moving your shoulder blades toward the spine a little bit. You're retracting them toward the mid-back. Okay, now take a deep breath in. We're going to move the head and neck. As you exhale, let your head fall to one side. Stay there for 4 breaths. 4, 3, and as you hold your head in this position, you might decide to move your chin slightly forward. This is where you figure out what feels good for you. And on the next inhale, you're going to slowly bring your head back into neutral. We're going to pause here in neutral for a moment, and then we're going to do the other side, of course. So deep breath in. And exhale, let your head go to the other side. So keep your shoulders drawn away from your ears. I'm trying to cover my microphone. Apparently there's some dolphins behind me. So let's bring the head back to neutral. Okay, let's go back and forth like that, keeping the shoulders drawn away from the ears. Okay. Should I cover my... I'm going to hold my hands like this, just to cover... I don't know what I'm doing, actually. I would like you to draw your shoulders away from your ears. Thank you, Rob. You're going for it. Okay, so deep breath in. Exhale, let your head fall to one side. Inhale, head back to the center. And then exhale, let it fall to the other side. Back and forth. So just go to the breath's rhythm. Let's do 3 more each side. Now, if your mind has started to wander, come back to what you're doing. You've carved this time out of your schedule. So bring it all your focus. And then let's do 1 more each side. Then we're going to come back to neutral. Okay. Sit up nice and tall. Okay. So we're gonna incorporate what we just did, letting the head fall to the side, but this time we're gonna get more of a stretch on the side of the body. So in order to do that, we're gonna prepare by getting that same image as before of rooting down through the lower body. So the feet root down, the legs are active, engaged. Pelvis is gonna remain neutral. And when we do this leaning to the side to stretch open the side of the body, I shouldn't say lean because that makes it sound like you're shifting your weight or letting the weight lessen on one hip. What we want to do instead is we want to bow open one side of the ribs and the other. So let's start off like that. So take your hands, your fingertips to the ribs, to the sides of the ribs, like some fingers in the front, maybe some on the sides. And we'll do this with the breath. So take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, let your rib cage move to one side. And then you inhale back to the center, and you exhale, you let your rib cage move to the other side. So you try to do it with the idea that your shoulders are staying kind of level to the ground, and with the idea that you're keeping your pelvis equally rooted on both sides. So that's one element of the move that we're going to do. So we're going to come back into neutral, and then let's do this. We're going to take the arms to the sides, and let's really get the idea of contrast between having the arms just like relaxed and having the arms really active. So we're reaching down as if you're trying to touch something over there. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's let the head go to one side, and then bow your rib cage the opposite way and lean. Pause here for a few breaths. So try to keep the weight level on both hips. And whatever side your head is closer to, it's that opposite elbow that's lifting. Let's make our last exhale here, and let's rise up to the center. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we'll hold it for a few breaths. Take a deep inhale to start. And then as you exhale, you're going to go to the other side. Remember, the hips are level. Whatever arm is reaching toward the ground, the opposite elbow lifts. The head is going to the side. So we're using a little core awareness. And then let's come up to center. So pause in neutral. And it's interesting because right now we're getting a lot of waves. So let's incorporate this into, before we do the same thing again, let's take the hands together, stack them, and then start to make circles. So we're rotating. And we had a conversation with Deborah about the effects of trying to stay upright on a boat and how it engages the core, even in ways that we're not always aware that we're doing. Whatever way you've been rotating now, go the other way. They don't have to be big circles. If you can do it without holding on with your hands, do that. And then we come all the way back to neutral, into relative stillness. And now we'll do that same move that we were just doing earlier. We're going from side to side, but we're going to make it kinetic. And I'm going to say right and left this time, even though I try to avoid micromanaging you, but sometimes it just makes more sense, right? So have the arms out to the sides, engage the arms, root the lower body down. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, lean to the right, left elbow lifts, bow open the left ribs. And then inhale back to the center, both arms reaching down. Exhale, lean to the left, right elbow lifts. Inhale back to the center. Let's do it to the count of 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale to center, 1, 2, 3, 4. Arms are straight. Deep breath in. Exhale to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go side to side. 1, coming back to center. Inhale, 2, 3, lean to the right. Exhale, 2, 3, to the left. Inhale, 2, 3, to the right. Exhale, 2, 3, to the left. Inhale, to the right. 3, 4. Exhale, to the left. Now let's take it a little bit longer for a count of 6. Inhale to the right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale to the left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale to the right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale to the left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do one more each side. Really bow open that left side of the ribs. Back to the center and to the left. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's come all the way back to an upright position and let your hands relax in your lap and take a few deep breaths. So let's keep on going with this idea of moving the rib cage, right? So we're going to take the hands and we're going to bring them together this time. So bring your hands together and we're going to try to lock the hands in place. So if you can interlace the fingers, we can do that. Sometimes it takes a while to get the fingers to interlace all the way. Is Arturo watching? Yeah, because I always help him interlace his fingers. Back in the day, remember the day when we could touch each other and help each other get into different yoga moves? We'll get that back one day. So take your time, interlace the fingers. If that's not going to work for you, then you make one hand a fist and you hold on tight with the other. So we're going to stretch the arms out in front of us. Try to keep the arms parallel to the ground, okay? So however you have them, try to keep them parallel to the ground. And we're going to keep them that way as we round the back. So take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, start to bring the chin to the chest, round the back. Take a few breaths to get into that curl. And try to keep your hands at the height of your shoulders. Stay here for a few more breaths. Work on opening up the back of the ribs, creating some space in the back of the lungs. And then let's go back and forth into this position. So lift your chest into an upright, arms parallel to the ground. Deep inhale. And then exhale again, round the back, chin toward the chest. Cave the chest in, belly button toward the spine. Drop the chin toward the chest. Back up into neutral. Let's do that twice more. Deep breath here. And then exhale, round the back. Back into neutral. And then once more, keep the arms as straight as you can. Deep inhale. And then again, round the back. And then all the way back into neutral. Now we're going to let the arms relax a little bit. Let's make a few shoulder circles. So bring the shoulders up and back and down and forward. Do that a few times. Make those circles as wide as you can. So the shoulder joint is really mobile. So explore all the mobility you can. Now, whatever way you've been going, go the opposite way. And notice that quite naturally, when you decide to get as much movement out of the shoulders as you can in this rotation, the rib cage starts to move a little bit. The chest and back start to move. So you don't have to isolate the movement totally. So let's do one at a time. So right shoulder, bring it forward, up, back, and down, and then left shoulder forward, up, back, and down. Keep on doing that. Right and left. Keep on going with that idea, right? And involve a little more of a twist and left. So let your chest turn as you're doing this. Right shoulder back. Left shoulder back. Right one back. Left shoulder back. Okay, opposite direction. Left shoulder forward. Use your hands to brace yourself as you're making this move with your shoulders so that your rib cage is moving, so that your chest is moving. So that when you look behind you, you can see farther because you're involving the rib cage, you're involving the torso. Let's do one more each side. As much movement out of your shoulder as you can. And then we're going to come all the way back into neutral. Okay, now we're going to do more of a twist. So again, root with your lower body. Take some nice deep relaxing breaths. Take your hands to your abdomen and press in with your hands on your abdomen. Okay. You feel the front of your body moving as you breathe. Of course you do. What we're going to do now, before we do this twist, is try to prevent the front of your body from moving so much as you breathe in. And so what that takes is some contraction of the abdominal wall, of course. Try to breathe just as deeply, but it's like you're breathing into the back of your rib cage. And whenever I describe this exercise to people, I always remember our childhood games when we would play things like cops and robbers, where, you know, someone falls down and they're supposed to be, you know, dead. It's a childhood game. So if you're really, really doing it well, your breathing can't be noticeable. So you find a way to like really imitate this, you know, this position so that you're not visibly breathing. So think about that in a lighthearted way. So you're using the abdominal control to open up the back of the ribs, the back of the lungs. Now, if that suggestion, you know, makes you feel short of breath, then of course, you know, you can totally forget I said it, hopefully. But keep that into play as you do the next move. So you're going to turn to the right. So you're going to take your upper body, you're going to turn it to the right, and you're going to use your hands. So you're holding on with your hands to the side of your chair, the arm of your chair, the wheel of your chair, whatever you got. Lower body is not neglected. It's rooted, it's strong, it's stable, grounded. Okay, now hold on with your hands so that you're anchoring your upper body in this twist. Let your right shoulder go back, let your left shoulder go forward. So you're taking into account those two moves that we just did. So, and then turn your head to the right a little bit. Okay, now, just like we did earlier, hold the front of the body still as you can. Breathe into the back of the body. Not if the breath feels, you know, short, or it'll feel a little bit constricted because we're in a twist. But not if you feel like, you know, shorter breath, you're gasping, of course, then, you know, please back off a little bit. But we're holding the upper body here for a count of 4 on the inhale and a count of 4 on the exhale. So let's do that for a few rounds. So inhale, 1, 2, breathe into the back of the body, 4, squeeze the front body in, 2, 3, 4, and again, inhale, back of the body, 2, 3, 4, exhale, squeeze the front of the body in. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Let's do one more. Hold the front of the body still. Breathe into the back. 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now hold your upper body in this twist, and we're going to add something else that we've already done together, and that is a curling of the body. So you're going to bring your chin down towards your chest. You're letting your chest cave in a little bit, letting your belly button move back. And you're going to hang out like that for a moment. You might want to change the position of your right hand or your right arm. Feel your right shoulder blade pulling away from your spine. Take a few deep breaths into the back of your right lung. Make your last exhale here. And then we're going to slowly come all the way up. Now we're going to keep on stretching open this left lung. So let me ask you to take your left arm out to the side like this. Sometimes we call this a cactus arm. What is it? People having fun? Oh, so nice. Good reminder. And we're going to make the muscles in that arm. So instead of just like holding it out like this, activate the arm. And then you're going to take the hand behind the head, and you're going to press the head into the hand. So instead of just holding the hand on the head, put it behind the head, and then use your neck muscles to press the head back a little bit. Okay, now you're using your right arm, and we're going to bow open the left side of the rib cage. And take a few deep breaths, 5 deep breaths into this left lung. So essentially we're pressing the head back into the hand, but you know, your face can aim forward, it can aim down, so don't let me micromanage you on that. 3 more breaths. Keep pressing your head gently back. Okay, now slowly, slowly, we're going to rise up again. Back into neutral. And we'll just pause here for a moment. It's amazing how silent it is out here today. That's therapeutic. Stay focused on the breath. Deep, slow breath in. Now we're ready to do the same thing to the other side. So we're going to take the hands and we're going to hold on to the side. So we're turning the upper body to the left this time. Okay. So remember, it's going to be a combination of moves that we already have done together today. One is to hold the front of the body as still as you can, as if you're trying to hide the fact that you're breathing. The front of the body, of course, is going to move a little bit, but the objective is to hold it in a little bit so that you can experience a deeper breath into the back of the lungs. Open up the back of the lungs. So stay like this for a few breaths. Lower body is rooted. Same thing as before. Right shoulder's going forward, left shoulder's going back. So you're getting that sense of contrast. A few deep breaths here into the back of the lungs. And of course, as you're holding this pose, monitor yourself for excessive effort so that you're softening where possible. Let's do 4 more breaths. And I'll count. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. 3 more breaths. Open up the back of the body. 3, 4 on the inhale. Now exhale. 2, 3, 4. 3 more. Breathe, holding the front body still. 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4. 2 more. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And then once more. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And now on the exhale, we're going to round. So keep your upper body in that twist to the left. Take a few breaths to really curl here. And as you do, invite a deeper breath into the back of your right lung. Think about opening up the back of your right waistline. Three more breaths here. So it's a twist, it's a curl, it's an opening, a contraction as well. And then on the next inhale, let's slowly, slowly rise up. Okay, now here we are back in neutral. And before we do that other side stretch, just pause. come out to the right. We're going to bend it. Engage that arm. And put it behind your head. And press your head back into the hand. Okay. And then keep your head pressed back into the hand. And then we're going to bow open the right side of the body. Change the left hand position so that you can really allow that right side to open even more. And then, of course, you put your head in the most comfortable position. Take some deep breaths. Three more. Make your last exhale, and then we're going to start to slowly come back to an upright position. Okay. So now let's do a little arching and rounding of the spine. Okay. Because we've done some of this rounding, but let's do a little bit of arching too. So as far as the arching goes, we have the back of the neck. The neck obviously is already in an arch, as is the low back. So we're going to involve the head and neck, but I want you to try to extend in the upper back too. Really the rib cage is like one of the stiffest parts of the whole body, So we want to try to get movement in the rib cage as much as possible to give us more freedom, more liberty in our actions. So we're going to involve the head and neck like before, but we're also going to open up the chest, broaden the collarbones, and then round the back like we've been doing before. Okay. So you put your hands in some way that they're useful to you. And as you inhale, you bring your chest forward, your collarbones broaden, you look up. And then as you exhale, you round the back. And keep on doing that. Inhale, shoulders go back. And exhale, shoulders come forward. So really visualize your spine doing this work. Visualize those muscles that line the spine. So not only will this help our mobility, will it help our breathing, but really whenever we move the torso in this way, we're helping our circulation, we're helping the lymphatic drainage, we're helping our digestion. And another thing that yoga does, not only does the yogic breathing help us to gain a sense of control of our mind's activities, but also can directly affect our mood. And when we're in a better mood, we're usually nicer to ourselves, and we're usually nicer to each other. And one day when we're allowed to go out again and intermingle, there's going to be so much happiness. Let's come back to neutral. Okay, now take the hands to the heart. Heart center. Doesn't have to be exactly right on top of the organ that we know is in the chest. But the heart center, that area that is associated with the heart and associated with all the things that the heart symbolizes, like patience and tolerance and affection and gratitude and love and valor and honor and bravery. Those things are very useful. But for now, let's focus on a sense of gratitude, because that's always how we seal this class. And it's the most beautiful part of the class for sure. When there's a lot of people here, people really open up and say things that take a lot of courage and vulnerability to admit, just saying what they're grateful for. It's really heart opening. So now it's just me. So it's not that as exciting, of course, but you think about what you're grateful for. Maybe a person, maybe a thing, a memory, a place, whatever. And keep it in your heart. And as you take your next inhale, reach out and up with your arms, gather that gratitude. And as you exhale, bring it into the heart. So it's like a symbolic act, isn't it? Inhale, you gather it. And exhale, you bring it to the heart. Do that a few times more. Visualize that thing or that person you're grateful for. Visualize it in great detail. And last one, reach out, reach up. So you're gathering the gratitude. You're bringing it into the heart. And I'll tell you what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that you showed up. I'm grateful that we could be here in this beautiful boat. Thank you to the Woody Foundation for sponsoring this class for so many years, for doing so many cool things in Miami to help people who are facing paralysis, people who've had brain and spinal cord injuries. Thank you to the Impossible Dream, to the founders behind that mission who have this amazing boat that changes people's lives. It helps them get in touch with tranquility and a sense of fun. And thank you to Dharma Studio for doing these classes. Thank you to our team here for helping us to get these classes out, live streaming and Facebook. Most of all, thank you all for coming, and please give us your feedback. Let us know how you feel about the classes. We would love to have you all with us here, but we can't do that right now. So we're coming out here on the bay and doing the classes to give you a sense of tranquility and some useful stretches and strengthening moves. So let us know how you feel about it. We're doing them on Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. So just keep your eyes out, keep your heart open, and we'll be here for you. So thank you for coming, everybody. Namaste.